Hey guys, what's up? Lumpy Ice Cream here, back with the review for Backlash 2000. A couple of apologies right off the bat. Sorry I could not get this out yesterday. I was not able to record it just due to time constraints. And then secondly, we got an audio only video today. I know that doesn't make much sense. Audio only video. But you know what I mean. My webcam, for some reason, is refusing to open and it won't let me record. So I've had to open up old Audacity and record the audio only, and then pictures up or whatever. I don't know. It's not going to be probably just be the thumbnail photo that will be throughout the whole video. I'm not really going to throw up much of this. I'm not going to really wanting. I don't really want to do much editing, to be honest, with these videos, guys. We're going to be doing one each day, or at least attempting to. So, yeah, definitely not wanting to edit these. Um, so, uh, same as yesterday, we're going to review Backlash 2000, or not yesterday, the day before, rather. Backlash 2000. So, we're going to go through each match from worst to best. On the card, again, no pre-show, no heat match. I'm not going to rank it. I don't even know if there was one. Let me check. And just for curiosity's sake, I'll look it up, see if there actually was one. Not that it matters, we're not going to be talking about it, but yeah, no. So there was no um, Backlash pre-show match. It was just this the card, which is 9 matches. It is a big up from last year, or the year before. I think. Not really. It was 8 matches. Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. I guess I'm just used to most WWE shows now running a little under that. They're going a little bit, having less matches, unless of course it's one of the big pay-per-views. But anyway, let's get right into it with what I thought was the worst match on the card, and that was the Dudley Boys up against T&A, Test and Albert. Look, it had a storyline feud going into it. Bubba Ray Dudley kept trying to put Trish Stratus through the table for whatever reason, and she kept like making out with him and shit to stop him from doing that. And it's this whole thing that Bubba's infatuated with Trish Stratus, yet keeps trying to put her through a table. It makes no sense. So yeah, I guess there's at least a storyline that can go into it. The Dudley Boys as a tag team, they're great, one of the best tag teams ever. But this match was just a bit garbage. Nothing really of note happening at all in the match. TNA picking up the win, and then Dudley Boys or Bubba putting Trish through a table at the end, and she gets carried out. That's your match. Like I said, nothing really of note happening in this match at all. I guess the sound work from them, but nothing really special. Next up, number 8, Big Show, or should I say, the Showster, picking up the win against Kurt Angle. Look, I guess it's a bit of a shame to see Kurt Angle go this far down. That he's stuck in this sort of silly feud with the Big Show, who at this point in his career was doing the Charlie Huss thing before Charlie Huss and coming out with a different thing each time. This time he shows up as Hulk Hogan, and credit to him, he actually does a really great Hulk Hogan impression. He comes out in the full gear doing the entrance, and then he has cuts a promo, very Hogan-esque, and the impression is spot on. He does the whole Hogan shtick of hulking up at the start of the match, and then he drops the leg drop, which Kurt Angle kicks out of, and then from there he just wrestles the standard sort of Big Show match, and eventually picks up the win It's fine. It's just a bit of a shame that this was, this is Kurt Angle we're talking about. But Kurt cutting a pretty good promo on politicians and on America and why it's going downhill and stuff before the match. But yeah, it's a fine match. It served its purpose well. But I have to put it at this point, number 8 on the list. Next up, a surprisingly good match. When the entrances were getting underway, I was kind of went into it expecting not really a great match, but I mean, yes, it is number 7 on the list, but that's just because everything above it has is just a much better quality, and that is Big Show and Bill Buchanan. Not Big Show, Big Boss Man rather. My apologies. And Bull Buchanan teaming up against the Acolytes, Farouk and Bradshaw. A lot of cool spots happening in this match. I can't say, like, I know who Bill Buchanan is, but easy for me to say. But I hadn't really watched many of his matches. And yeah, he's like 6'8", and he's busting out some pretty impressive moves here. It's kind of a shame he never went further in the company. Like, they do the standard Irish whip spot, and Bradshaw drops down to give him the flat jack, and Buchanan just flips right over Bradshaw and lands on his feet. And really, really impressive stuff, especially of a man his size, particularly around that time too. Like, I know that nowadays we are used to a lot of larger people being a bit more athletic, but around this time, especially, Buchanan, I felt really stood out. And for example, he does he's sort of sent into the turnbuckle and he sort of kicks off of it and goes back and clotheslines. I can't remember if it was Farouk or Bradshaw, but another impressive move. Then, Boss Man coming into the ring. There's a moment where he looks like he's going to fall down. Farouk shoulder barges him, and Boss Man, I think, goes to bounce off the ropes, but goes very low and ends up bouncing off the second ropes. And it almost looks like if they weren't, if he was a little bit early going down, he would have just fallen over. Bossman taking a real nasty hit to the stairs as well. It looks like his head collides with the stairs. Bradshaw slamming him into the stairs, and it looked pretty nasty. Some other funny spots I thought. Bull Buchanan attempts to clothesline Bradshaw, which I do not recommend you try and do that. It's not going to end up well for you. The match comes to an end when Bossman uses his nightstick to knock out Farouk on the outside of the ring, which obviously the ref doesn't see. And then, while the ref, who was Teddy Long in this match, I know it's always a bit of a jolt to the system when you go back and watch and you remember that Teddy Long used to be a referee. It was a bit crazy. So yeah, Bossman getting up on the apron and smashing Bradshaw with it, to which then Buchanan performs a really nice scissor kick off the top rope for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, that earns 7 spot on this card. Again, a fine match. Just I think everything that was above it, you know. Bill Buchanan, I think, really carried this match actually. Maybe that's what. Maybe for some people this match would be a little lower, but for me, I think Bill, Bill Buchanan, good name, uh, you know, really impressed. So I enjoyed this match. And next up, the opening match for the WWF Tag Team Championships. Edge and Christian picking up the win against DX, here represented by X-Pac and Road Dogg. Well, I think it was just them at this point, right? From memory, I need to scrap up on my history, particularly around this time. But Yeah, I believe this was when was Billy Gunn like off doing his own thing? I think he was. I don't. But yeah, so DX been a really great heel team, working dirty, doing you know the old double team when the ref's back is turned. But then also on the flip side, you don't really see it a lot from the babyface teams, which Edge and Christian, I guess, were sort of the in between, the sort of tweeners at this time. They were sort of acting a little bit heelish, but they were obviously the baby faces going in. But yeah, they were doing a lot of heelish maneuvers. Like usually when the ref's back is turned, baby faces won't really take advantage of that. But Edge and Christian using really good, have a really good usage of that throughout the match, which eventually ends in the finish of, I believe, Edge bringing the ring bell in and clocking X Pac, which actually busts X Pac open. I have to presume that wasn't. I don't know if that was a blade job or if that was a legit busted like self open. Because if it was a blade job, it seems very odd for that to be at the last. Like you'd think a blade job would happen through the match or something, but this was at the very last second. So I don't really know what happened there. Whether this was again a legit X Pac getting busted open, or whether it was a little bit of the blade. But anyway, a really strong tag team match to kick this show off. Really impressive stuff. I mean, it's Edge and Christian, Road Dogg, and X Pac, like they're really strong workers, and that's a trend that would sort of carry through the rest of this show. Our next match, the European Championship on the line. Eddie Guerrero retaining his title against SA Rios. Um, some fun at the very start. Guerrero and China rock up in, I believe it was a Chevy. I think I could be wrong. I don't know cars in case you can't tell. I know they said it, but yeah. So he arrives at the show, and the referees tell him that he needs to get out there now because his match is next. So, and if he doesn't, then he forfeits his title. So they drive out to the ring. He sort of opens up the trunk, him and China, and he gets ready, puts on his elbow pads. He's wrestling in a tuxedo, by the way, because he was just at prom or something. Takes the title, gets in the ring, all that. Then SA Rios and Lita come out, Lita accompanying SA Rios. And yeah, the two have a very, very fine match. Rios takes a nasty bump early on, jumps over the top rope, and Eddie moves out of the way. And the sound he just makes as he hits the ground is it sounded pretty nasty. But yeah, just great athleticism. Rios also flips over the turnbuckle. He runs corner first into the ring. Eddie's on the outside and just right over the turnbuckle. Nails a perfect flip. Really, really impressive stuff from Rios. Eddie Guerrero taking as well a horrendous looking monkey flip bump. He looked a little bit too close to the ropes when it happened. He seemed to get tangled and just drop right on his head. Um, really, Lita gets pushed off the top rope. She jumps up there to try and interfere, which I don't know why she necessarily would, because that would cause disqualification. But China pushing her off the rope. Then yeah, and match ends with Eddie scoring the pinfall. And then as they're celebrating in the ring, Lita jumps in and rips China's dress off, which we get more pleasant Jerry Lawler commentary. Uh, but we do get some pretty hilarious uh, facial expressions from Eddie Guerrero, who's just loving this, and China just embraces it in the end, and they walk off um, together. So yeah, a fun match. I mean, it's an Eddie Guerrero match. Um, you're always guaranteed something good with an Eddie match. So in most cases. Next up, number 4. We got the Hardcore Championship on the line. This time, a 6-man hardcore match. Got Crash Holly, the champion, walking in, taking on Hardcore Holly, his cousin, Matt and Jeff Hardy, Perry Saturn, and Taz. So a nice little uh, lineup there of superstars. A lot of cool weapon spots. Of course, Taz is the first one to use a weapon, which actually comes a fairly later in the match. It's I don't think it's really got anything on the last year's hardcore title match, the Backlash '99, which we talked about, Al Snow and Hardcore Holly. I thought that was a really fun match. This one was more so just contained in and around the ring. Um, Although the highlight of this match is when they make their way up to the entrance ramp. This was where the sort of swinging backlash structures were introduced at this pay per view, and a couple of superstars use that to their advantage. So Crash Holly tries climbing up there, I guess, to get away, but Matt Hardy climbs right up after him, and there's this really scary bit where Crash falls, well not falls, but he sort of drops down, is left hanging upside down by his leg, and it looked pretty nasty. But he's eventually knocked down, to which then Matt jumps off the structure, takes out everyone. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And then there's more brawling sort of happens around there, and then we get Perry Saturn sort of picking up Crash for the suplex, but then just drops him onto one of the swinging structures, and it just crumbles. Pretty violent looking. Perry Saturn down with a big power move there, and then Jeff Hardy, not to be outdone, uses one of the structures as a swing and swings into I can't remember who it was, but he just swung and like a clothesline, I believe. At that point, they sort of make their way back to the ring and sort of brawl there, and that's where the weapons start getting introduced. We've got street signs, baking trays, I believe, an extension cord, which the referee tells Jeff to stop using to choke people, but it's a hardcore match, so whatever. Um, and eventually, the match ends when Jeff and Matt team up to take out Perry Saturn and Hardcore Holly. So they're suplexed off the top. Turnbuckle onto the outside of the ring, and Taz had been incapacitated with a street sign to the head, and Crash gets the very narrow victory there, just one arm over. He was just so happened to be in the ring when Matt and Jeff took out Saturn and Hardcore Holly. So Crash retaining against all odds, retaining his Hardcore Championship. So yeah, a solid match. It was definitely a lot more sort of hard hitting weapons action as opposed to sort of Al Snow versus Hardcore Holly, which I talked about the other day, which I thought was a much better hardcore match. But one, not too bad, nothing to be ashamed of. Like I said, some great spots, particularly when they got up to that. The structure by the entrance ramp. Next up, we got number 3, the Intercontinental Championship on the line. Champion Chris Benoit going up against Chris Jericho. Now, this is the first time we're talking about a Chris Benoit match. And so I will get it out of the way now. I am going to try my best to separate the wrestler Chris Benoit from the horrible actions that happened with him. Obviously, to say the least, horrible actions. I'm not going to bring that up in every single video where I talk about Benoit. I'm getting it out of the way now because it does is actually something that pertains to it in this match. I'm very slightly uncomfortable, but I'm going to be talking about these matches. I'm going to talk about the excellent wrestler that he was, because if you want to try and deny that based solely on how his and his family's life came to an end, then you're wrong and it's bias. Okay, we are not taking away from how great of a wrestler he was, nor are we taking away from the horrible act that happened that night or that weekend. I just want to get that out of the way now because I have seen other videos where some people do try and bring this up as an issue and discredit Benoit's matches. Um, so I want to get that out of the way as to my stance on this. I will be separating. Obviously, we're going to be talking about a lot of Benoit matches. So just want to get that out of the way now. My stance on it. Let's get into this match with the first spot that we're going to talk about, which again I said pertains to the whole situation. There was a horrible spot where Benoit jumps out of the ring, leaps over I believe he leaps over the top rope or maybe the second rope. I think it was the top rope. And Jericho moves, and Benoit just comes crashing down on his head, and obviously like it was very jarring in that moment, knowing what ended up happening. Particularly JR's call of that's a career shortening move. It's uncomfortable, obviously, watching it now with hindsight, but nevertheless, like even in the moment, it is an awful bump that's horrible. So yeah, they brawl on the outside for a bit before getting back on the inside. A very lovely spot by Jericho is where Benoit Irish whips him, and then on the rebound, Jericho pulls off a spinning cradle attempt. He spins around him and puts him into the cradle for a near fall. Really solid athleticism by Jericho. Later in the match, Jericho attempts a pin, which Benoit counters perfectly into a crippler crossface. Jericho gets the ropes, and then we have a spot where uh, Benoit tries another crossface, but Jericho counters that into Walls of Jericho. But again, Benoit getting to the ropes, and then we sort of start setting up the final act of this match, where Jericho tries to hit Benoit with a flying shoulder, which Benoit dodges and takes out the referee, which in this match is Tim White. So Benoit almost immediately ducks out of the ring, grabs the Intercontinental title, and whacks Jericho with it. And then I believe tries to pin him, to which Jericho kicks out, and then Benoit suplexes Jericho onto the IC title, which Tim White doesn't see as he counts the pinfall, but then sort of like walks off to shake it off and doesn't see the suplex onto the IC belt. But what Tim White does see is Benoit going up to the top rope to hit the flying headbutt, and Jericho holds up the IC title belt, which Benoit makes full contact with, and causing the disqualification victory for Benoit because Jericho used the belt. Now, at first, I didn't quite see what happened here. I thought Jericho rolled out of the way and Benoit fell onto the belt, which I didn't think should cause a disqualification. I believe in some other matches, if an object is brought into the ring, but like if someone just lands on it, then I think it's fine. I don't know because no one really used it. It was just lying in the ring. Like obviously Tim White could presume someone used it, but he doesn't know who. He can't call it. So that's what I thought happened. So I thought it was a bit weird, but then when they showed the replay, it clearly shows Jericho holding the title belt up and Benoit landing headfirst on the belt and causing the disqualification victory for Benoit, who retains. I mean, it doesn't matter who got disqualified because Benoit would have. But yeah, so and then after the match, Jericho locks the Walls of Jericho on Tim White. So yeah, their match really great in ring work again. I mean, it's two of the best, Jericho and Benoit. They know how to do a phenomenal match, and this was no exception. I don't think the finish really let this match down at all. I thought it was a completely solid match all the way through from bell to bell, with a really inventive finish, I felt. Anyway, guys, now these three, the top three, the match I just talked about plus these two, they're all really great matches, and it was really tough sort of putting them where I have. But um, I just had to look at the things I liked in the match, and this is just where the pennies dropped, so to speak. So, looking first at the number second spot, we got the light heavyweight championship match between Dean Malenko and Scotty 2 Hotty, which is a it's a combination that shouldn't work as well as this match does. Not to discredit Scotty 2 Hotty, but this match was actually really surprising. I believe it was the second match on the card, and I mean, this is fantastic. The whole way through, Dean Malenko is working the leg, the left leg of Scotty 2 Hotty. Um, there's a great spot where he's working on the leg and he's grabbing it, and Scotty 2 Hotty hits an excellent Inzaguri, but Malenko comes out with a brilliant tail, just flipping after the Inzaguri, and it looked beautiful. Dean Malenko does not get enough credit for how great he actually is. Um, so yeah, working the leg through the whole match, that excellent Inzaguri spot. They take a nasty tumble out through the ropes, so it's sort of like a tackle. Malenko tackles Scotty 2 Hotty and sort of fall out of the ring. Um, really, really excellent stuff. Malenko executes a brilliant back suplex as well through the match, where he sort of pushes Scotty 2 Hotty into the corner. Scotty rebounds and into the back suplex, which just looks crisp. Um, but then, and I know I'm talking a lot about Malenko in this match, but not to outdo Scotty 2 Hotty. He Dean Malenko goes for the power bomb, which Scotty 2 Hotty brilliantly reverses into a bulldog, which just really, really crisp. Scotty 2 Hotty throughout this match gets a huge pop, particularly when he goes for the worm. But the match comes to an end with probably spot of the night. I think this was one of my favorite spots in the on the whole show. Um, so the match ends when Scotty 2 Hotty goes for a superplex, and Malenko reverses it into a DDT, which I sort of didn't believe what I saw. I'd never seen that before, and I don't know why, because that's one of the best moves I've ever seen. Dean Malenko just pulling that out of nowhere and picking up the 1, 2, 3 based off that move. It looked devastating, and yeah, a great way to end a great match. Like I said, Malenko just working the leg through the whole thing. It had a nice through line all the way through, and Malenko retaining his light heavyweight championship. That, of course, brings us to number one. That is The Rock versus Triple H. What can you say about this match? I mean, The Rock and Triple H, great workers as always. Just an absolute slugfest of a match. It's got your very stereotypical McMahon Helmsley interference with obviously Shane, second year in a row he's main eventing the title match, except this time he's got Vince on his side. But one of the great spots of this match is the double rock bottom to Shane and Triple H through the announce table, and when the huge pop when Triple H when Austin returns. It's magnificent. Um, this one was I'm now starting to think about it. Malenko and Scotty 2 Hotty was so good. It could take number one. Dare I do it? Dare I do it? Um, I've got to like just talking like I just literally just watched sunk in, and Rock vs Triple H was a very great match. Um, But honestly, I think I'm going to have to change it here, change the ruling, and just say Malenko and Scotty was a brilliant match. And actually, I think the IC title match goes up above the WWE title too. I'm sorry, guys, changing things on the fly here, but hey, what can you do? These three matches were all very, very good. Like the top three matches, like they're fucking fantastic. They're all on equal footing. But um, yeah, I've got to change the ranking here, guys. So the final ranking is the light heavyweight championship match. Malenko and Scotty Too Hotty taking the first place. Second place, Intercontinental title. Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho. WWF title next with The Rock versus Triple H. Hardcore Championship number 4, number 5 European title, number 6 WWF Tag Team titles, number 7 Big Boss Man and Bull Buchanan defeating the Acolytes, number 8 Schuster versus Kurt Angle, number 9 last match on the card TNA and the Dudley Boys, my least favorite match on the card I should say. So that's that, guys. Sorry to change things on the fly. I had to rush up, get this video out. I hadn't really had time to process it. I really enjoyed the Rock Austin match, but I hadn't really sunk in how much I enjoyed the light heavyweight and IC title. Sorry if that's controversial, but hey, that's what you get with me. My opinion is my opinion. I put the fucking hardcore championship match number 1 last last video on Backlash 99. Go watch that if you haven't. Sorry for spoilers, but yeah, go check that out. I should say also, all of these are going to be full spoiler reviews, obviously. Some of these pay per views are 20 years old, though, so, I mean, if you're watching and you haven't watched that yet, then I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, overall, a really solid card. Was it better than Backlash 99? I'm not going to say. I'm just going to leave that in the mind, sort of marinate and digest. Really strong card. Really, really strong card. Definitely jam-packed 6 title matches, I believe, on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, 6 title matches. That's definitely. I mean, it's doubled from the year before, which only had three championship matches. So yeah, guys, we've been going on for half an hour here. I know I said I was going to keep these short and sweet, but yeah, a little bit more to. I wasn't very impressed with the video the other day for 99 Backlash. I felt I could have gone a little bit better there. So I took a few notes here of some spots I liked, and, bits and pieces, just to keep some form of coherence, so not just me going, "Oh, that was a good match," or "This was a decent match," or this, that, and the other. So I'm keeping note of things that I want to note. So there we go, guys. That was my review of Backlash 2000. Please, in the comments, guys, let me know what you think of Backlash 2000. And unless anything happens tomorrow, we'll be back at it again with Backlash 2001. So looking forward to that one, guys. Thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, all that cool shit. And I will catch you tomorrow for Backlash 2001. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you later.